We built, launched, and scaled a brand new low-ticket ascension funnel that made $129,700 in less than 60 days through cold traffic mediums only. And this was without an initial organic audience launch or even active competitor validation. This was just a simple two-step low-ticket funnel that flooded our sales team calendar with 7 to 10 highly qualified sales calls a day, right? Keyword highly qualified. There's a difference between highly qualified and qualified. These calls were highly qualified. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you some general observations surrounding low ticket to high ticket funnels, especially in today's increasingly skeptical market. Some things we done correctly that ensured profitability, some bottlenecks that we were experiencing, and some mistakes that we were making that could have been dangerous long-term speaking, but of course had to overcome them as quickly as possible, and some other key lessons on low ticket to high ticket funnels, on not only on the funnel sides of things, but also on the ad sides of things, the ascension sides of things, and of course, the sales sides of things. Now, with general observations, first one, the most important one, is the framing of your low ticket product is everything. Now, with this client, what we done is, because we understood, right? Many marketers, they make the mistake of overwhelming with front-end value and bonuses and done-for-you scripts, done-for-you templates, crash courses. And when you cause overwhelm, it causes confusion. And it's not optimal for people coming through cold traffic, because this is the first time they're hearing about you. They don't know you, like you, or trust you. And you believing that you can get them through the door with a in-depth low-ticket product is, of course, backwards thinking. With low-ticket products, you frame this everything, and you need to frame it as easily digestible as possible. So what we've done with this client, we simply split up the low-ticket product into daily to-dos to frame the product as a specific time frame to the desired situation. Now, this was kind of like a 7-day bundle to achieve X outcome, right? And what we done, we had the fulfillment, the product fulfillment inside school. And when they got zapped inside the school community, of course, after buy-in, they could easily access the low ticket course. Day 1, here's what to do. Day 2, here's what to do. Day 3, here's what to do. So on, so on, and so on. What this done is, of course, it made it seem as an easy solution. And the easy emotion is a critical one to activate, especially for cold traffic, right? The more easy you make your solution, the higher your conversion rates will be. But this is, of course, one of the most important things. Like, we framed it specifically into daily to-dos and put the naming convention of course, the 7-day bundle to achieve this outcome. And then what we also done is, like, we had these product consumption emails, which I'll be walking over in just a lot more detail in just a moment, that got people to consume every single day. And then when they finished, what's the next step? Of course, book an onboarding call to see where you're at and, of course, discuss next steps for long-term success, right? So the framing of your low-ticket product is everything. That's the first thing that we done. We made it seem easy with the specific framing and, of course, structured the low-ticket product in a way that was easily digestible. Now, the second one, we also minimized complexity with the product naming to communicate that the product is easily digestible, right? The 7-day bundle, the 7-day breakthrough, etc., right? They know that they can achieve some sort of outcome, and it's only going to take them 7 days. It's not going to take them 30 days, 45 days, 60 days, etc., right? What this also done, of course, falls into the framing criteria. It just makes our product seem easy, right? At the end of the day, people like easy solutions. The reason why you go on YouTube and then these like 5-minute ab workout videos got millions of views, right? People like easy solutions. Is why people take supplements. Is why people get into get rich quick schemes, right? The easier you can make your solution seem, the better your conversion rate will be. And now the third one, of course, falling into the framing, what we also done was craft a sales argument that demonstrated why our method of achieving X result is superior to what they've tried or other solutions they may be looking into. And with this, we appeal to the new emotion with not only a cringy naming convention, but also crafting a sales argument that clearly demonstrated why this is the method they need. Not showed, demonstrated, right? Now, this is another mistake that many marketers make, right? They believe the unique mechanism is just a naming convention, right? Like, let's say the 3-step breakthrough system, Amazon FBA, breakthrough freedom bundle, right? Is with these naming conventions, if you haven't got a strong sales argument that clearly demonstrates in why your method is superior to other solutions in the marketplace, a naming convention isn't going to save you, right? A 3-step system name on your headline isn't going to save you, right? With your unique mechanism, it isn't only the naming convention, it's the why and the how behind your system and how you get results better, quicker and more efficiently than other people in the market. So what did we do with this, right? We of course had a framing, the 7-day bundle to achieve this outcome. But what does each day accomplish? Why is each day important, right? So with this, we had sales arguments, of course, like that, why this is of course superior, but also why other solutions that they've tried in the past really didn't provide them with the result. And then we of course crafted some sales arguments around, of course, this is important to be able to rewire your belief system so you do X, Y, Z, etc. Right? The sales argument is king with your low ticket sales pages, especially, right? A naming convention, like a unique mechanism, apologies, isn't only a naming convention. It's the actual story and the finding of that unique mechanism and the system. And then you make that in a sales argument, right? So we had this in text format, but we also mentioned this in the VSL, right? The reason why you're not seeing success isn't because of this, isn't because of this, isn't because you haven't found some magical supplement. It's truly because of something that you've never heard about. And it's this, right? Here's how it works, etc. Right? You need a superior sales argument to, of course, build up the credibility and make people buy from you, right? Super simple. Now, the second observation is on Twitter. There's a lot of comments and I guess virality surrounding this, but static ads absolutely crush with low ticket ascension funnels. And the reason why they crush, I think I mentioned this, but with a static ad is of course is very curiosity driven on the front end, right? And then your main goal is to get as many clicks as possible to your sales page, so the sales page accomplishes the main goal of converting that customer, right? So with this, our best performer and this project was sitting at an AX ROAS, as shown in the side high rows. It was just a simple static that read how specific ICP is achieving specific outcome without main limitation, right? The visual of this static was a picture of our client who had clearly achieved a specific outcome, right? Static ads, they don't need to be difficult. The most important gem that I can hand you is the specific image you use is important, right? If you use images that clearly depict the dream outcome that people want to achieve, you're in for profitability, right? With this client, the main outcome was looking lean, right? Looking lean, looking shredded, being respected by others. We just got a picture of our client that appealed to that dream outcome, added him there, and of course used a headline following this format, and it was one of our best performing creatives. This one was getting 5K piffs left, right, and center. This one creative alone, right? And then what we done, when we found winning concept, right? It was this static following this specific structure. We unveiled similar creative variations, same static copy, but different image, which depicted the dream outcome, right? We had the same headline, how ICPs achieving specific outcome without this limitation. The only variable we changed was the picture. We even tested one of him and his wife. We tested one of him and one of his business partners, right? It's like you can find winning creative concepts easily if you just find what's worked in the past, right? This was a proven creative. It was running profitably for months, getting dozens and dozens and dozens of calls on the calendar. When we knew that was profitable, we didn't really invent new wheels or try to reinvent the wheels and try to unveil new creative formats. We just found a winning concept and unveiled similar creative variations, right? Statics crush, but ensure you have recouping systems in place as you can get curiosity heavy clicks, right? People who are interested but not ready to buy. A lot of these static ads is, of course, the CTRs can be amazing, but healthy CTRs doesn't necessarily mean that the leads who are seeing your landing page are of buying intent, right? So we did get a lot of curiosity heavy clicks, people that were clicking, they weren't buying. Like our CTRs were amazing, but our front end conversion rate didn't really reflect upon that, right? So what we done, we just simply had recouping systems in place that would get them to eventually buy, right? I'm going to be walking over this in a lot more detail in just a moment, but we had the content retargeting systems. We had, of course, the email systems on the back end. They were getting retargeted left, right, and center, right? Bombardment, overcoming key limitations, showing key transformations that people like them have seen, and so on and so on and so on. So when you're running low ticket to high ticket ascension funnels, statics absolutely crush. But with statics, we did run into the mistake of having these curiosity heavy clicks, right? And if you don't have recouping systems in place, it's going to be effective. Now, third one, cold ad to low ticket sales page congruency has never been more critical. What's said in your ads must be communicated on your low ticket sales page. If there's no congruency, you lose people. Now, with our ads, our best performing ads, we had a specific identity call out. I mean, like all specific, very niche, right? And on the sales page, of course, when they click through the ad, they could see the identity call out. They knew that this low ticket sales page and this product was just for them, right? And it doesn't matter what you're communicating in your ads. If there's minimal, if there's even a little discongruency with your messaging, you will lose people, right? We even went to the next level and even ensured that the branding is congruent from the front end to the back end, right? Some of our best performing ads, they were like a red color scheme. Our best performing landing page variation was a red color scheme, right? It's maximum conversion. It's maximum the front end to the back end. This is when you see insane results. Now, the more seamless, chronological your low ticket ascension funnel is, the greater your conversions will be. Everything from the front end to the back end has to be chronologically superior. And I mean everything, right? The claims you make on the front end have to be similar to the claims you make on the landing page, right? When someone buys a low ticket on the book call page, similar messaging has to be used to get them to book a call. You need maximum congruency throughout the entire funnel. Even on the back end, you write emails or you get your setters to dial, right? The same limitations, the same stories, the same transformations have to be communicated, because that's when you, of course, be profitable through cold traffic. Now, with this project and this funnel, of course, this was also their first time diversifying with cold traffic. They were strictly relying on Twitter and LinkedIn for lead flow, right? And it was a code to crack at first, mainly because we didn't see competitor validation. There wasn't a active competitor serving a very similar ICP running up with low ticket extension funnels. But we, of course, this client, they received the validation for Twitter and LinkedIn. We had a bunch of ammo that we leveraged for the cold traffic diversification, right? If you're now an online coach, you work with online coaches. If your client has an organic digital presence, whether that's through Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or even YouTube, right? Diversifying to cold traffic is not as difficult as you think, because you built up them touch points, right? You've had the sales calls. You understand the key limitations of your prospects. You understand the specific phrases that they resonate with that can be applied to cold traffic, right? So it was a simpler process with the diversification, and this low ticket ascension funnel, it actually helped them make their record month, which is good to see. What went right? The first thing, we were getting on the phone with our ICP ones. Now, ICP one is like our dream caliber client, right? The people who have the cash, they know that they need this solution and they've got a deep burning pain that they want to overcome as quickly as possible, right? And we were getting on the phone with our ICP ones for one reason, which I'll be walking over in just a moment. But with this is these clients, they had a bunch of sales call recordings, right? We just got the AI call recordings of those, put those inside Claude AI, and just discovered what are the key motivations, what are the key problems these guys were facing. And then we just had an ungodly amount of hooks that we can test, right? Mainly because of these sales calls. So if you're right now 100% organic driven, but you have had sales calls on the calendar, you maybe haven't closed people, they gave you objections, but you've also closed people and they told you specific phrases and motivators behind them joining your high ticket, right? Each phrase is a hook that you can use on your cold traffic ads. Now, with this as well, our low ticket to book call ascension rates were 90%, meaning I think they were even like 80 to 90, right? Just so I'm not doing extreme false claims here, like 80 to 90, right? But that means for every 10 low ticket buyers that we got, 8 of them were booking a call, right? Mainly because of how we were ascending them. And I will show you because I've got like the structure below. Now, with minimal creative testing, we found our winners early on. We just had to duplicate the formats to scale, right? As I mentioned, if you've built up the touch points through organic, you understand the specific motivators that your ICP have. You know specific phrases that they gravitate to, right? This is all ammo that you can use for your creatives, and they are all angles if, of course, you use them the right way. So we didn't really have to reinvent the wheel. Like, it wasn't that we were launching a brand new offer, right? They had validation organically. They just didn't have the validation through cold traffic mediums, but we weren't starting from zero because we had them touch points from organic. Now, we're profitable 30 days into testing. Most funnels, most conversion mechanisms, of course, can take, let's say, 60 or even longer amount of days to see that profitability. But 30 days into testing, we were profitable. So the only thing we done, increase ad spend. Super simple. Now, the take rates for our order bumps were 30% plus consistently. We hit the jackpot with our first order bump framing test. Now, I have got more in-depth videos surrounding order bumps. But of course, when someone bought our low ticket product, the order bumps were specifically curated. Like, when you buy this, what can you now invest in to save you more time and save you more effort to see this outcome quicker, right? So we were very specific with the order bumps that we were offering, and then that's why the take rates were, of course, super good. And as a byproduct of this, our AOV was healthy. More cash to distribute with paid ads, right? When you know that your AOV is healthy, you can just put more into ad spend, right? Because now your liquidation rates are a lot better. Now, we received exceptional feedback for our low ticket product. This is honestly the cornerstone, and it's one tweet that I put out a while ago. I'm hoping that you guys can see this. It walks over a philosophy around, of course, the importance of product. And if we share it, it should display any minute. Is this tweet that I'll put up, right? You're doing sales because you failed at marketing. You're doing marketing because you failed at product, right? Now, even here, as it reads, when everyone competes on outlandish claims, you stand out with a good product. A good product, the best marketing mechanism. We're luring people in with a $27 offer and sending them into 10K buys just because of how good the $27 product is. Irresistible front-end offer that gets your customers a quick win, and order bumps, of course, for AOV contribution regions, a thank you page, cool booking step, and dialed-in sales practices to close high-ticket deals. This is the demonstrative funnel. This funnel allows you to demonstrate your offer credibility, results you can get, price commitment, and then allows you to easily ascend customers into high-ticket because your front-end product gave them a quick win, right? What we've done well, and why I put this as a point, is with the exceptional feedback for our low-ticket product, we knew that the product was genuinely good. And when your product is good, it does the talking. People are going to soon ascend, right? Because they're seeing some sort of quick win. So when you're crafting low-ticket ascension funnels, your low-ticket product is the cornerstone of all success. Like, don't half-ass it. Like, don't do let's say, like a PDF with like 3 pages. Make sure it's actually decently good so people can get some sort of quick win, right? Now, what went wrong? Our front-end conversion rates were poor. We were sitting at less than 2%, and we were split testing everything. Like, we even split tested the FE price, FE headlines, and we done the FE ICP call out. We done an emotional versus logical VSL. We even split tested the structure of the page, but then for some reason, the conversion rates were still below par. They were like 2%. I think we had like 4% conversion rate days, but it was still poor, right? And the biggest needle mover in increasing these conversion rates is ads and retargeting, right? We had a huge custom audience sample size of people that viewed the sales page they didn't buy. So they were putting inside a custom audience that overcame key objections, told stories, key transformations, of course, got them to eventually buy. But the biggest needle mover with front-end conversion rates is honestly the offer framing. Like, as soon as we reframed the offer from a crash course to a 7-day breakthrough to seeing the success, our conversion rates increased. But upon initial testing, especially from days 30 to 45, our conversion rates were slim. And with this as well, the product consumption rates were also slow. This was when we noticed that we could change to a chronological sequence for the product consumption to increase that and, of course, get people to ascend, right? Because like, if they see a bunch of video modules, they're not sure on where to start, you're minimizing your product consumption, right? And when you minimize the product consumption, people are not going to ascend. So what we've done is when they were inside the school, of course, as I said, day one, here's what to do, day two, here's what to do, so on, so on, so on. As a byproduct of that change in framing for our low ticket product, our product consumption rate soared, as well as our ascension rates, right? Now, we also had a way to please surpass this, like bypass this, overcome this. Let me just say, please overcome this, right? With initial testing, we had product fulfillment problems. When someone bought the low ticket, they weren't able to access the school, the material. And then when they got on the call with the closer, is of course, the first thing that they mention is, I didn't receive the low ticket. I didn't receive the low ticket. But this is a dangerous thing with low ticket ascension funnels, because of course, product consumption is everything. So with this, we ensured that product fulfillment was dialed. Like, the zaps were firing. We even got a VA to manually cross-reference people to ensure that they had access to the low-ticket product, right? You don't want product fulfillment problems, because if people ask that they haven't, if people email you saying that they haven't received the low ticket and they're on a call with you, they're not going to pay high ticket with you, right? It's just a basic customer experience, right? Ensure that your product fulfillment automations are dialed. Now, with this as well, we made emotional split test, which caused us temporary harm. with an attempt to increase our front end conversion rates, we thought, okay, let's lower the price, right? Like it was $27, let's put it down to $9.99. Why not, right? We can test it. And when we lowered the price of our low ticket offer, it only resulted in poor people attending the call. And our conversion rates didn't like necessarily increase, right? Like when you make split tests, they need to be logically, of course, driven and of course needle moving. Like don't split test like random things, like let's say the font size on the order bump or like things of that realm, like right? Split test needle movers, the VSL intro, ICP call out, headline, and of course ads, right? But with this as well, we did make emotional split tests and it did cause us temporary harm, but at least we caught the market validation in what they respond to, right? What messages do they like and what messages don't they like? And then when we found out what they like, we just duplicated it. Super simple. Now, with this, add low ticket ascension funnel and sales lessons. Now, as I previously mentioned, right, the structure of this was very different because normally when someone buys our low ticket product, they are automatically redirected to a strategy session page, right? Like straight to closer without financially qualifying them or character trait qualifying them. For this client, we made a shift. And what we done was when someone bought the low ticket, they were redirected to an onboarding call. And the onboarding call was simply used for product consumption and qualification. Hey, of course, I appreciate you redeeming this course. Like am I just confirming that you got access, like how things going, like have you started it, like what you're already thinking, etc. Right? We're using it for product consumption, but then at the end of the call, we use it for vetting. We financially qualify the prospect, not in an aggressive way, in a subtle way. We character trait qualify them to ensure that they're serious about achieving this dream outcome. And if they are, we let them know, okay, sounds good, my man. Like when you have the time and when you've consumed a healthy amount of course, what I would appreciate you to do is, of course, to connect with my right-hand man who's going to show you a fast-track way to see success and other things that you may benefit of. Sound good, right? And then we got them on a call, and then on this call, it was for the closer. But when someone went through the onboarding call, when they were financially and character trait qualified, and when they consumed, and when they were on the closer call, it was like an easy layup. It was kind of like Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, and Michael Jordan, right? Easy layup. Now, with low ticket ascension funnels, heavily critical, especially if you cold traffic, leverage maximum propaganda for maximum ascension rates. You need a pre-call VSL page. Like with this pre-call VSL page, you have your headline. You've got your VSL congratulating them on booking their call, social proof, etc. You've got your FAQ page, which has 7 to 9 videos overcoming key objections. And then you've got your social proof wall, and then next steps, right? Next steps on a call, like confirm this call, etc. You can even put the next steps beneath the VSL section over here. So it's like better. But you need this pre-call VSL page for your low ticket funnels. When someone goes over this process and when they're on a closer's calendar, they need to be redirected here, right? And then on top of this, when they book a call, hammer them email sequence. Right? Jeremy Haynes, right? This is something that we later on implemented, which was a huge mistake. Like we implemented this only 45 to 50 days in of testing. This should have been done from day 0 to overcome those limitations and ensure healthy ascension, right? You also need content retargeting, right? Once again, coined by Jeremy Haynes. You need those retargeting systems through Meta that customer journey specific, right? If they view your sales page, they don't buy, custom audience get them to buy. Or when you, of course, have a decent sample size of people that booked the call, they need to be receiving custom pieces of content that prime them to, of course, respond positively on a call, right? Huge one, content retargeting. And of course, sellers and closers personally reaching out to people who booked a call. Memo format, written messages, forwarding them over specific case studies, the list goes on, right? Now, no amount of funnel CRO split testing is going to fix your inability to test many new creatives as you can, right? Is if your front end ads are shit, if your creative formats all over the place, if you're attracting a below par ICP with your ad messaging, your funnel isn't going to save you, right? You need maximum congruency. Like to do this, to make low ticket funnels insane profitable, you need to test as many new creatives as you can, right? If you don't create clear value differentiation between your low ticket and high ticket, you'll miss out on profits. It's what I previously mentioned, right? Don't overwhelm with front end value. Your low ticket product is the lure into your ecosystem that gets them a quick win. Your high ticket product is the ascension tool that accelerates the success of your customers and of course holds them accountable on their journey so they don't fall into old habits, right? People pay high ticket for access. So if on your low ticket product, you're maximizing access to you and all these weekly coaching calls and WhatsApp access to you, like the high ticket doesn't serve no benefit, right? Make sure you do ethically gatekeep some components with your low ticket, because that's when your ascension rates will be scaling. Now, there's something special about strategically using attractive female characters in your marketing, right? Ads we tested with our client and his wife were ripping. And I'm unsure of the mechanism behind this. Like, maybe it's because females, of course, the right one, like attractive, but I believe it's also that when we use female, is of course we're less likely to be aggressive to that female. Our resistance level is kind of lower as a byproduct of using that female, right? And these are tests that are run like countless times. Like every single time we use a female, doesn't matter what marketing ammo or collateral we're creating, they always seem to perform better. So don't sleep on attractive female characters. Now, if you get people to consume, you ascend your low-ticket buyers. Consumption is the cornerstone of your success, right? Here I must add is, of course, make your LT easily digestible. This can be like, let's say, 4 modules, PDF, or like a done-for-you script, right? The list goes on. You need to make the framing seem so it's easily consumable, but then you also need product consumption emails. The onboarding call step, which I mentioned above, the onboarding call step achieves consumption. You also need a mini VSL that guides prospects through the LTO. Right? Congratulations on redeeming the product. Here's how you best results. Right? Easy. But then when they are inside the school, then they watch the VSL, they know what their next steps are. But you need to maximize product consumption for healthy ascension. Our best customers, by the way, like who we ascended through the low ticket funnel that closed into like 5, 6, 7K clients, they came to the sales school with like notes of the low ticket product. Mainly because we had the product consumption plays, of course, intact, right? So make sure you prioritize product consumption. And the final one that I can leave you guys with is straight call-out ads are becoming commoditized. Don't be afraid to break your creative testing rules, right? An example would be like agency owners, coaches, and consultants. Like, how many times have you heard this ICP call out, right? It's like overly saturated. Like, you're not appealing to the new emotion, whatever, right? The people who are consuming this message, they're likely consuming the similar hook time and time again. Then when they see you have a similar hook as these guys, they place you in the same bucket as them, and then you're commoditized, right? Don't be afraid to break creative testing rules, have interesting hooks, have cool stories to tell on the front end, and then you'll differentiate. Yeah, that's of course the mini case study approach of how we generated $129,700 in less than 60 days for this client, and it was his first time with cold traffic. Any questions? Head up inside the comment section below. Sub to the private newsletter if you don't already. Is a newsletter where I send a daily direct response, info, offer creation, and yeah, the main purpose is just to flood you with value. If you're not subscribed, subscribe now, and see you in the next video. Let's get it.